Housing TV Africa, your first in housing development broadcasting.
Hello and welcome. This is NTA Tuesday Live, and I'm Cyril Stober. Here's hoping you had a happy summer holiday. Now, the housing deficit in Nigeria has surged from 14 million units in 2010 to a staggering 28 million units in 2022, marking a remarkable 100% increase. Now, alarming data from the Central Bank of Nigeria indicates that only 10% of Nigerians aspiring to own homes can afford to do so, underscoring the magnitude of this issue. As of 2023, the housing deficit required an estimated 21 trillion naira to rectify. Well, although this figure has experienced fluctuations throughout the year, but despite an estimated average cost of 750,000 naira per housing unit, considering factors like inflation and the socio-economic landscape, this valuation is likely overly optimistic. Tonight, Tuesday Live will explore some of the efforts being made by the Tinubu presidency to change the narrative and address the unstable future of housing. Let's introduce our guests to you. We'd like to welcome to this program the Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Ahmed Dangiwa. Minister, thanks for being with us tonight.
Thank you. Good evening, Nigerians.
We're also joined tonight by Festus Adebayo. He's a lawyer and Executive Director, Housing Development Advocacy Network. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you so much. Good evening, Nigerians. All right. I'm pleased to be here.
Right. And joining us from our Enugu Network Center is Dr. Ugochukwu Chime, Chairman, Land Reform Task Team, Federal Ministry of Housing and Urban Development. He's also a former chairman of the board, Enugu State Housing Development Corporation, and a past president, Real Estate Development Association of Nigeria, REDAN. Thanks for being with us tonight.
Thank you so much. I'm glad to be here.
Okay, thank you. We'll get to you. Well, this is NTA Tuesday Live. Well, as you know, at some point in time, we'll go interactive. And when it's that time, we'll remind you of the process and the procedure. But for now, let's start off looking at the issues with regards to housing development in Nigeria. Well, Minister, the Tinubu administration has just marked its first year in office, with Nigerians having the opportunity to assess the various sectors and to see just how much the government has impacted on their lives. Let's come specifically to housing and find out from you, as a way of starting this conversation, just what are the steps, the practical steps that your ministry has taken to ensure the availability of decent housing and improving the living conditions of Nigerians generally across the board?
Thank you very much. I can say that since inception of this administration, we have taken steps to ensure that under the renewed hope agenda of this current administration, we have increased the supply of housing into the citizens, and also to improve the living conditions of Nigerians. Under the renewed hope agenda of Mr. President, phase one of the project is to deliver up to 50,000 housing units across the country with various categories of houses that need to be done. We have the renewed hope cities that we intend to do, or we are doing currently, whereby 1,000 houses are to be delivered in each of the 6 geographical zones of the country, in 6 states, including Abuja, the 7 states. And we are also taking the renewed hope estates to be in the remaining 30 states of the Federation, whereby we have 500 housing units in each of the remaining 30 states of the Federation. So with this current budget, since 2023 supplementary budget, while we have over 100 billion naira was earmarked for that supplementary budget, we have selected at least 12 states, 2 in each geopolitical zone, to do the renewed hope estates, where we have delivering 250 housing units currently ongoing, and contract has been awarded, contractor has been mobilized in 12 states of the Federation, 2 in each geopolitical zones. We have Oyo, Oshun, we have Ebonyi, Abia, we have Akwa Ibom and Delta. We also have Gombe and Yobe. We have Nasarawa and Benue, we have Katsina and Sokoto. And then for the cities, we are delivering at least 500 housing units in Kano currently. The groundbreaking has been done in 5 of those states. And we are continuing the groundbreaking by next week on the remaining 7 states in the in the southern part of the country. For the housing estate of these renewed hope estates, we are delivering the 250 housing units of 1, 2, and 3 bedroom housing units that are affordable. They are targeting the low and medium income earners of the society, whereby the houses are designed to be organic and to increase affordability, to ensure that there's affordability in it, in such a way that 1 bedroom can be converted into 2 or 3 bedrooms depending on the income or the size of the family of that person, whoever acquired these houses. At the same time, we have made it easy for offtake. You have either to installmental payment or outright purchase, or through mortgage of up to 30 years at 6% interest rates through the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria. At the same time, we have a rent-to-own option for those who need to do into that. These are for the renewed hope estate that we are doing. For the renewed hope cities, as I said, 1 per each geographical zones, we have taken at least 3 cities. Lagos, we are delivering 1,500. Contract has been awarded and contractors are already on site, funded by Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria. Then we have the Kano, which will have 500 housing units. The groundbreaking has already taken place there. The Abuja, where we have 3,112 housing units, where Mr. President did the groundbreaking. The work is ongoing there. We are delivering 3,112 housing units of mixed houses, where we have bungalows. We don't have bungalows there, where we have a block of flats, 1, 2, and 3 bedroom block of flats. We also have terraces of 2, 3, or 4 bedroom housing units. These are meant to be cross-subsidized in such a way that 20 to 30% of these housing units will be cross-subsidized. The housing project in Abuja is a sort of a PPP arrangement, whereby we sign an MOU with some consortium of developers to deliver the 100,000 housing units across the country. We facilitated that through the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, providing the off-taker guarantee, and the Family Homes Fund funding portion of it, and the developers also pursuing the funding from other sources within the commercial banks to ensure that those houses are delivered for Nigerians. This is on the renewed hope agenda on housing development. We also have the renewed hope agenda on slum upgrade and urban renewal, to which we have selected 26 sites to be upgraded. The renewed hope agenda under the slum upgrade and urban renewal is to ensure that we improve the living conditions of Nigerians that are in slum areas. The 26 sites, we have 4 in each 6 geopolitical zones of the country, and then 2 from FCT. Even those ones, contract has been awarded and contractors are already on site and work is ongoing. Some of them have even completed some of their works. And for the renewed hope cities, we have done groundbreaking and contractors are already on site. These are some of the efforts the federal government is doing when it comes to housing and urban development.
All right, thank you so very much, and quite a comprehensive list you read out here, but we'll take a look at them in greater detail as we progress with this conversation. But let's turn to Mr. Festus Adebayo. And for you, would start off by asking you to take a cursory look at the housing landscape in Nigeria, particularly within this period, and say what has changed if you have the background of the huge deficit that were introduced at the start of this conversation, and what has changed in the last 1 year?
the last 1 year, I can say clearly, as a civil society leader, we have critically looked at the performance of APC in the last 1 year. And we have come out with our report. To start with, we have commendation for Mr. President in the area of establishing a stay-alone Federal Ministry of Housing and Urban Development. I remember meeting a minister some years ago who was the Minister for Works and Housing. And when he was introducing himself, he introduced himself as, he mentioned his name, and he said, I'm a bridge builder. I was very sad. What does that mean? What it means that the only thing the minister understands about works and housing is just to be building bridges. It is beyond that. As an advocacy group, civil society, we have been demanding for a stay-alone ministry of housing. You cannot bring housing, there's a big problem, and works, there's a big problem together. And I remember we suffered that during the first year of President Buhari, when he matched power, problem, works, problem, housing, problem. But when we kept shouting, he listened to us and separated them. So where we are commending President Bola Tinubu is in the area of starting by establishing a ministry, a full-fledged ministry of housing. I remember in 1999, when President Obasanjo was there, President Tinubu of Nigeria today did the same thing in Lagos by establishing a full-fledged ministry that will attend only to housing, and it's still there till today. So that's commendation. Beyond that, I do not know that I'm going to see the minister here. But we have also sent a commendation to Mr. President for choosing one of the professionals, respected one, in the housing industry to manage that stay-alone ministry. We have looked at his record when he was in Federal Mortgage Bank, where he displayed the high knowledge of demand side of housing and the supply side of housing. That skill is important. And having performed very well, we all who are stakeholders in the housing industry believe all that he deserves from us is to give him the total support. So we commend Mr. President when he appointed him. And I can tell you, 1 year is too small for me to say whether somebody have not done well, whether somebody have done well. But I can report to you here that Ahmed Dangiwa have done well. In fact, we have done a report of 10 performing ministers, and he came first. I remember somebody called me and said, first of all, how did you people get this result? And I said, man, during the first year that they appointed him, he established a committee, a reform committee, one on land reform. We all know land is a problem. Access to land. Give my driver a land. He will build 1 bedroom. When he gets more money, we build another room, making it 2 bedroom. So land has been a barrier. He has set up a committee to look into that. Review how the problem of land problem will be affecting the demand side and the supply side. He did not end up there. He has also set up a committee to look into the area of building materials. And over here he's telling us that building materials hub will be established in all the 6 political zones of this country. That will create jobs. That is commendable. So to us in the advocacy group, we see the first year as a year of laying foundation. We see the first 1 year as a year of planning. As we step into the second year, we hope to see the manifestation of all the groundwork, of all the planning, of all the decisions they've taken. So this is our position. As far as housing is concerned, housing is on the right path, despite the challenge of inflation, despite the microeconomic problem of the country. We believe with the commitment of the minister and the political will of the president to support that ministry should be able to make a difference.
Okay. Well, Thank you for your views. Let's go back to our Enugu Network Center, and we hope that Dr. Chime, yes, there he is with us there. And you have held various positions, apart from being a president of the Real Estate Development Association of Nigeria. You've also chaired the board of the Enugu Housing and Urban Development Corporation. Now, you're part of a land reform task team. You're actually the chairman of that land reform task. And so that puts you in a very good position to assess the housing needs, both on the demand and supply side in the past, and what it's looking like in the last 1 year of this administration.
Thank you so much, Cyril. The reality on ground is that we have had a remarkable 1 year. In the past, most of the effort was at the product, building houses. But the surrounding socioeconomic environment and other factors that will make for a successful delivery in the housing sector were not being looked at. Previously, the concentration was on houses, without looking at some of the underlying factors like the land administration efficiency across the 38 land administration entities. We have 36 states, FCT, and then the Federal Ministry of Housing that administers all federal lands. So there are 38 of them. We saw over the years that every effort to build houses have met with some serious challenge in terms of land administration, either in terms of fiscal development policies or in terms of the other areas of titling, in terms of approval, in terms of deed of assignment and other products that are necessary for aligning the financial sector to the land, to the housing sector. And that is what we saw, that within the first 1 year, this administration, the minister underscored his experience by looking at this critical area. What they are doing in the land sector, in the land management sector, by instituting the land reform, is a game changer for everybody, whether you are on the construction side or you are on the mortgage side, whether you're on the demand side or the supply side. We discovered over the years, I've been in this sector for the past 40 years, getting to more than that. And I've discovered that many private sector financiers, multinational agencies that could have put in money into the sector were not willing to put the money because the land administration practice was a great hindrance to that efficiency that we have had them come in, bringing in the finance. So most of the time in the past, government have been concentrating on using government resources to be able to develop houses. But now we have a minister who understands the sector very well, who understands the linkages between efficiency in land management and success in housing delivery. Because when we get the land management very well aligned with the financial system of the country, you find out that funding will flow into the housing system from other sources, private sources, and the amount of money that is available in these sectors is more than 10 times what government can throw into the sector. So what he has done, basically, is to look at those areas, like some of the effort that have been done in the past, not just trying to change the Land Use Act in total, but trying to look at changing the Land Use Act, having the National Land Commission, and looking at some administrative and operational measures that the executive can initiate in conjunction with the states that will enable us to have reduced transaction time and transaction costs in the land management system. I can tell you, Cyril, that you can build a house in 5-6 months in some states, and it will take you 3 years to get the title. Build a house, 6 months, but it takes you as much as 3 years to get title to that land, or to get transfer, or to get any of the other processes and documents in place. And that is why we are very pleased with this Honorable Minister, Architect Ahmed Dangiwa, and his colleagues in the ministry, for how they understood that for us to bring in the private sector finance that is available, we need to tweak the land management system across the whole nation in such a way that the land sector can be more profitable and be more a source for investment, a destination of choice for investors. And that is what we are having. There's a lot of excitement in the various areas in the financial sector that we are about to get it right. So there will be measure of public funding and private sector funding that will give Nigerians the houses they need. And let me say this, that the effort that is being done on the land management will produce results across other jurisdictions like agriculture, like finance, and other areas, because every development is on land, not just housing or residential housing, commercial housing, tourism, and every other thing. So what the ministry is doing through the Honorable Minister will affect other sectors of the economy. And it is doing a job that actually should be the major focus of the country. It will affect the agriculture also. So thank you so much.
Really our hands together to execute and deliver affordable housing for our populations who are in dire need for those homes. It's very important to get access to decent homes and sustainable homes. So we have to roll over our sleeves and reduce the huge housing deficit in Africa.
One of the critical challenges is around end-user financing. How do we access green, accessible financial products that can deal with this mass urbanization phenomenon that's happening?